Okay, we are recording live from Arlington, Vermont, and looks like everything is working properly. Uh, yeah, everything seems to be working properly. So, hello everyone. Let's see. I think Curly Express or Dwight is here. Looks like also Wigwag was here very early on, but is not here. Wigwag is here. And it looks like Boxcar Jerry was also here, but I do not. It looks like he's been far enough away to not be. Usually when you hit the ampersand and type in two letters, it gives a whole thing. But looks like Boxcar Jerry was not that way. But that is. Excuse me. I was not expecting you on. But yeah, for those who are keeping track of everything, I was not here last week because I had double booked myself. It was a once in a lifetime setup where someone from where I go to church services was having a solo performance event through her college, and it was basically we all went out there to support her and all that, and cheer her on. I think, or at least the theme between all the performances, I want to say was had to do with identity and what everyone's identity, or had to do with their identity and how they came up with that, or everyone had. I would say everyone had a. It's hard to describe because each one was different. A lot of them had some silly stuff into it, and then there were other ones that were a little bit more. They had some fun parts with it, but also dealt with very serious subjects that apparently that they grew up with. And so it was very interesting. There was lots of laughs, but it's one of those things that start at 7 p.m. and I normally start my live streams at 6:45 p.m. So it's there was going to be some cross scheduling issues. Plus, it was also in Bennington, which is 15 minutes away. So that also added to the not being able to be here and there at the same time. But it was very enjoyable. It was nice to see that. Nice to see what young adults are thinking these days. So, also what happened this week is this yesterday was a not quite a farewell tour for a local layout from Bob Ham, who's also a master model railroader. He does, as he sort of says, Colorado standard gauge, which is 3 foot. He actually, he's an engineer, so he actually turned around and he actually built a small layout or small, I want to say a small layout or diorama of how the layout was going to look like. So he made I want to say maybe a 2 by 3 foot section of what the basement looks like and how everything was going to how the whole layout was going to be set up. He got about I want to. He wasn't able to complete it. I guess he has two houses and no longer can afford having two houses, so he's consolidating into one. And he's also moving to Florida, where a lot of people are going. So he is going to be eventually taking down the layout. I think there's going to be one more operations session before they start taking a hacksaw to it. Hey, rail artists! Yes, I am on. I'm still trying to figure out how to do the the pre-setup first, and one of the things I got to figure out to do is how to do thumbnails first, so I can turn around and say, "Hey, here's what the thumbnail is." A little bit more planning ahead, but yeah, actually, he's actually selling a lot of his stuff. I believe he's doing the Rio Grande in the I want to say in the 20s and all that, because he has a lot of Model T Fords and etc. and all that. But he is in the process of trying to reduce his stuff and all that, because he doesn't need all the stuff anymore. But so I actually wound up buying. So there's not that he didn't really have that much in 1876 stuff and all that, but I did pick up some railroad crossings, diamond style, which I believe was that style before they were standardized. It basically depended on the railroad, and I think the Delaware and Hudson, or the Albany and Susquehanna, which I'm sort of loosely basing my stuff on, used the diamond style. I also wound up buying a basically someone plowing. Let's see if I can get this right direction. Woodland Scenics. This metal setup, which I have opened, but basically a die-cast metal horse, plow, and of course the farmer it'd be on the back. Gotta sort of kind of figure out how that's all set up. I also bought this off of him, which is a InstaFence. But the thing is, I didn't look at it real closely because he does HO scale. So I made yes, I will have to eventually paint them, but first I got to take the flash off of them first. But this InstaFence, I looked at it and said, fences are sort of not necessary, not quite error specific. Or if it is, it's like you can sort of get away with them. But what I didn't realize with this, but I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that, but it says N scale. Was until I got home, I'm like, oh well. But it is one of those things of an N scale fence, I think, can be sort of like a short fence for around that. Well, hello there, James. Thank you for coming in. But one thing that when I mentioned that I'm doing 1876, is this, you don't have any cars and all that. Now, you need things with horses. So he actually, beforehand, he actually gave me this, which is a standard delivery wagon. You know, which the designs were for wagons are not didn't vary that much. I mean, there is a possibility of getting an Amish wagon that was there was a even a modern Amish wagon. If you turn around and actually take off the electric lights on it, you can turn around and I mean, even if unless somebody was actually looking close, you could actually probably get away with having the quote modern electric lights on them. But yeah, it's one of those things. I haven't gotten to that point where I'm looking for carts and stuff like that and etc. But having an opportunity to do that, just not really looking, but at the same time, if I get an opportunity to come across something and all that, I'll just snatch it up. Also found out that I haven't confirmed it yet, but there was a hobby shop that wound up closing down last year, which somebody was turned around and bought the store, but they couldn't reopen it at the same location because of it's a house where the business is attached to, and every finance place that he was saying that, hey, can I, have a half residential, half commercial loan? They all said, nope, it has to be all commercial. And he's like, I can't afford all commercial because commercial stuff is always a lot less, are always a lot more expensive, basically. So for some reason, says, oh, you own in business, you have a lot of money. It's like, no, not when you're starting out. Well, hello there, Rex Railroad. All right. So it's like, yeah, I would have to say with this older with this layout that's going to be eventually disabled. I'm going to see about. I mean, it's a very gorgeous layout. I mean, the guy who did this, Bob Ham. The thing is, not only is the layout beautiful with all the scenery and all that, but underneath looks absolutely clean. He does a lot of. He is an engineer by his trade, so when he makes a sketch, it's usually on grid paper and almost. He might not use a ruler, but he definitely uses a compass to make all the curves and maybe a straight edge to make all the nice straight boxes. But yeah, the entire underneath of the layout, he does cable management that would be considered what's called cable porn. So I mean, it's like everything's all nice, lined up, zip tied. All the wires are numbered, and there's a corresponding cheat sheet that he actually has that actually says, okay, this color wire means this. It's a label, labeled between here and here, and so very inspirational, but he also shows people how to do it. So it's one of those things of, it's not technically hard. It's just time consuming, because you're measuring each individual, you measure the individual wire, you cut it, strip it, put the appropriate clippings or ferrules on it, and doing all that with strips and stuff like that. I remember when I was much younger, and he had a DC layout. And there was one time he's like, oh yes, I just happened to be standing in front of the control panel, and they're in the process of passing through trains, and it's like, hey, can you flip up the such switch? I'm like, okay, because some people are very, when it comes to touching their layout, if you don't know. So I went and I clicked it, so I can. Then next thing I know, I'm doing dispatching. But then I remember, when a lot of people were, when Bob was around the corner, and a lot of people weren't looking and all that, I sort of noticed that the control panel was hinged. So I sort of like, not sure if I'm allowed to do this, but I went and I picked up the control panel, and everything was all zip tied together in one big huge cable, and all, it's like everything's labeled and all that. And I'm like, damn, this is not spaghetti. So that was, that was, again, it was one of those things of, it's not really hard to do. It just requires, just doing one wire at a time, and just doing it that way. And it's one of those things of, well, I'd like to aspire to, because I actually wound up working for a company that made machineries, which you had to do cable management. So I learned on how to do cable, also a job that I had to do cable management. And I did have mentors that, making sure I was doing it correctly. My current layout there's 4 wires. One's going on one side of the module, one's going on the other side of the module. 2 wires are going on one side, 2 wires are going on the other. There's not that much in management. And even Bob said, it's like, if you only got about, it's like less than 10 wires, you don't have to go to that level of making sure everything's all nice and neat. He does say that once you start getting really, really complex, like, you start getting over 25 wires, then you should start, all right, we need to actually organize this stuff. So it makes troubleshooting a lot easier. But yeah, he has learned a lot of tricks over the years on what to do to make his layout not only look nice, but also operationally nice. He's very also that particular with his locomotives and track and cars, making sure that the cars are all let's see, I'm trying to think now. Yeah, making sure that the cars are all the right weight. He actually tunes his locomotive to how much it's supposed to be able to pull. And there's this one story that he said that there was a one locomotive that he was trying to get to pull a certain number of cars. And no matter, he added weight, he did rubber tires, he did everything he could to get it to, I think it was supposed to be able, the prototype is able to pull, I think, 15 cars or something along those lines. And he couldn't get the thing to pull 9 or something like that. But he wanted something that was more prototypical. And, he played her, and someone turned around and showed him that usually with, especially brass engines, usually when you put everything together, the springs don't work. The springs are, have everything up against the hole there. Well, hello there, Kyle. Thank you for coming in. And so what he wound up doing was reducing the spring pressure on it So the wheels would actually, the axles would actually come up and down, because when everything is all the way pressed down, you only have three wheels. You'll usually only have three wheels, because that's sort of kind of how multiple axles work. Because you wind up with three that are low enough to touch the rails, and the other ones are too high to be talking out of them. Just woke up from a wigwag nap. Okay, then. So when he made the springs loose enough so they can all the wheels could actually touch the rail at the same time, he wound up, all right, now that all the wheels are touching the rails and all that, that's when he kept on, he tested it out again, and he got to the 15 cars, and he added the 16, 17, 18. It got to the point where he couldn't figure out exactly how many trains it could pull up, because it got to the train got so long that there wasn't a straight enough line, and it kept on, of course, going around a corner, it would just take the cars and just flip them on the side. So he's like, okay, I need to take weight out of this now. So then he eventually started taking, I think first went the rubber tires. Then he had a loose weight, take weight out of it and all that. And he finally got it to, so it was actually running the way running the way the prototype went with the amount of cars. So, well, enough of that silliness. Let me switch cameras. All right. And we'll go from here. And we'll pick up from last time. All right. Okay. All right. Now I'm trying to figure out what to do for the upper windows. Since these two doors are obviously not part of the storefronts, that makes me assume that whatever prototype they took this off of, this was had two apartments above it. And all right, let me clean these off a bit. All right. All right. Well, let's see if I can try doing this again. Oh, that's nice, real artist. And it's one of the things I do right now is rent. So I haven't. There's a lot of times I just don't do things because I know well, one landlord doesn't want me to do anything to the apartment, or I also found out that it's just nicer to make everything temporary. So when it does come to time to move, you don't have to worry about going too nuts on trying to fix stuff. And just once we get done with this, let that dry. I have to see about repainting over it. Okay, what color was this one? This one I think was the fake white. Ooh, touch up the mistakes we made with that. Obvious one right here. Not so obvious one here. I have to say, I don't feel, for some reason, I don't feel talkative today. Don't know why. But, another thing I wound up watching today was the new Spider-Man movie. A couple of interesting plot twists. Interesting callbacks from different ones. Let's do these, which I apparently had forgotten before. One of the things I'm gonna have to figure out what to do afterwards is what color to do the brickwork. So I haven't really figured out exactly what to do with that. I'm trying to think what I need more of that. I'm going to go that direction. I might go with the dust color. Now, one thing I'm thinking about for the different apartments up here is maybe do the windows slightly different colors. Sort of give, sort of an representation of, okay, this is not the building you're looking for. So I guess the annoying thing is that they are odd numbered. But it also looks like the green storefront has a rear back door, whereas the red one does not. All right. I mean, it is the back of the building. No, actually, even the sides, they probably won't. The way this is going to be set up, you're not going to be really seeing the sides. Might add just a little bit of color just to show that there's something there. So we'll do that. That's one of those things I might not do the back at all. Just since this is going to be for a traction layout, you would see the fronts more often. If this was going to be a one that's for steam or something like that, you'd probably be looking at the back more than the front. And that's what I'll do with this one. We'll do, let's see. trying to think if blue would be a... Well, it's not really earth tone. Usually with buildings, they were... they had more of a earth tone to them. Let's go with... All right, go with the Zandroni dust for the brick color. All right, well, see you later, real artists. Yeah, and thank you for coming in. Let's go with... Let's go with this one. I'm trying to figure out which apartment does this go to? Does it go to this one or does it go to this one? 3 windows. So this is 2 windows. All right, I'm gonna make these 3. Since this has 3, and this has 2, I'm gonna make these 4 over here, and then this one, these over here. These 3 over here are for the right side apartment. And we'll go that direction. So nada. carefully go around these. Trying to think would be so it'll go this direction. Now these I'll leave the windows the plastic color, and I will make these I'll wind up painting all these. Well, hello there, Mystic. Thank you for dropping in. You just missed Real Artist. Yeah, continuing on this building. Turn around, and like most building fronts, especially this era, he did a lot of fancy detailing on the front. But then, as you can see here, it's like this is all nice and fancy, and then back here it's like very plain, just the bare minimum. That was very common with buildings like this. Obviously, buildings that were on a corner, they did two sides. But usually what was in the front was the prettiest. Interesting thing, though, the railroads normally sew the back end of these buildings, not the front. But this was originally intended to go to a streetcar layout, so I might still keep doing that. Right now, the layout itself is sort of packaged away. But I still do have it. I got, basically it's mostly, all the bench work and the carriers and all that, but not necessarily the trackage. Not done the trackage yet. But in the meantime, I got sort of into the 1876 stuff. So that's on hold for now. So we're oh, sorry. I just happened to realize that I'm trying to, in order to get a better look at stuff, that I've taken this off screen. I am so sorry. I think that's one of the disadvantages sometimes, doing things. Uh, oh. So, Mystic, what is your confession? Getting right on top of these windows are a little hard to do. Definitely a bit of a challenge. Huh. You used a floor heater. Well, I would have to say, it's a lot better than, you know, usually confessions are usually a little bit more, in my opinion, a little bit more dramatic. But yeah, actually went out with up here in Vermont for the past couple of days. It's been really, really warm out, and this morning I went out with shorts and a t-shirt, not realizing that the temperature went back down again. So it was a little cold today. Still a little cold. But it happens, it's a thing called weather, seasons, and all that fun stuff. So things like getting cold are bound to happen, whether you're in the north or the south. Of course, what you consider cold and what I consider cold might be two completely different things because it's all relative. Not that you'll ever see me walk outside in shorts when there's when there's snow on the ground. You've probably seen the memes of Meanwhile, in Canada, there's someone in a they're in a swimsuit and they're also sitting on a chair made out of snow. But yeah, I've known a couple of people that they turn around and their immunity to feel cold is a lot different than mine. I know a couple of people that it could be during a snow blizzard and all that, and they're still wearing shorts and flip-flops. And then there's other people that, with the slightest breeze, they have to be bundled up like an Eskimo. Those seem to be more rare, though. That up a little bit. Use similar on this side, using the extra paint off of that. Also using strip right here and here. That is natural plastic. Just because. I actually thought because the way the weather was, I was going to have to turn around and actually put the AC in the kitchen window. But just never got into the mood to do that. All right. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to be doing the sides or back yet. And because, there's a good chance that the back will not be seen. Thing is, I'm not sure what's going to be next to it. So if it's something that's smaller, I might have to do at least the sides, maybe. But in the meantime, just do the front. All right, let's go check the time. All right, well, the time looks like it's 10 minutes of Sidetrack Sunday. So I'll stop this for a second right now. We'll switch cameras. Knock everything over. All right. Now we switch over to the front camera. And, well, all right. Thank you very much, Mystic. Today it got up to 50. Got up to 55. I think it was around the same temperature here, around close to around 50. It was basically all right, Mystic, thank you for coming in. Frozen tundra. No, it's not frozen tundra unless it's to me tundra is like it's usually also slightly windy out and lots of snow on the ground. But that's just me. So, all right, I'm not quite sure who's first today. It's one of those things I really need to turn around and add memorize what the schedule is so I can turn around and have people go to that stream. Let's see. I believe it's John from Schuylkill Valley Railroad. I think he's first. So I think it's John, Heath, Ray, Rick, and Nisi. I think that's the order. So, well, whatever the order is, I might see everyone there. So, I think the world needs more love. So find your passion, add some silliness to it, and spread it around. And thanks everyone for watching.